She hadn't spoken a single word in almost 3 years. Doctors called it selective mutism. Therapists blamed trauma. Her powerful CEO mother had spent millions searching for answers, but every appointment ended the same way, with silence. Then, on an ordinary Saturday afternoon, a little girl quietly looked at a stranger sitting on a park bench with his young son, smiled, and whispered 6 simple words that changed every life around her. If you've ever believed that one kind moment can change a person's future, stay with me until the very end of this story. Before we begin, welcome to Whispered Maybe, where every story reminds us that kindness still exists in unexpected places. If heartfelt stories like this inspire you, please subscribe, leave a like, and tell us in the comments about a small act of kindness that changed your life. Now, let's begin. Most people in Chicago knew Claire Harrison as the fearless CEO of a billion-dollar technology company. She appeared on magazine covers, spoke at business conferences, and made decisions that affected thousands of employees. But none of those achievements mattered when she walked through the front door every evening. The expensive house felt painfully quiet. Her 10-year-old daughter, Lily, had stopped speaking after losing her father in a terrible car accident 3 years earlier. Before that day, Lily had laughed constantly. She loved singing while helping her dad make pancakes every Sunday morning. Then, everything changed. She never sang again. Claire tried everything. The country's best therapists, family counselors, children's specialists. Every expert offered hope, but hope slowly turned into disappointment. Lily would answer questions with nods, tiny smiles, or by writing on a small notebook she carried everywhere. Words stayed locked inside. One Saturday, Claire decided they both needed fresh air. They drove to Lincoln Park, hoping the sunshine would brighten an otherwise difficult week. Lily wandered toward the playground while Claire answered work emails on her phone. Even during weekends, responsibility never stopped following her. After a few minutes, she noticed Lily standing near a wooden bench. A man about 40 sat there with a little boy building tiny towers from fallen sticks. The father looked ordinary. Blue jeans, faded baseball cap, and work boots covered with dust. Claire instinctively became cautious. Successful people often learn to be careful around strangers. She started walking toward them. Before she reached the bench, she heard something that made her stop. "She sounds nice." Claire froze. The words came from Lily. It wasn't loud. It wasn't perfect. But it was unmistakably her daughter's voice. The stranger looked surprised but smiled gently instead of reacting dramatically. "My son talks enough for both of us," he said softly. "Sometimes quiet people hear things the rest of us miss." Lily gave the smallest smile Claire had seen in years. The man introduced himself as Daniel. "This tornado over here is my son, Noah." Noah waved happily. Within minutes, the two children were quietly collecting colorful leaves together. Claire couldn't believe what she was seeing. No pressure. No therapy exercises. No awkward questions. Just kindness. Daniel explained that Noah had struggled after his own mother left when he was 5. There were months when he barely smiled, Daniel admitted. "I learned something important. You can't force healing. You simply stay beside someone until they feel safe enough to find their own way." Claire felt tears gathering. No expensive specialist had ever explained healing that simply. Over the next few weekends, they happened to meet again at the same park. Sometimes they shared coffee. Sometimes the children drew pictures with sidewalk chalk. Nobody planned anything. Nobody expected miracles. Daniel never asked Lily why she stayed silent. He simply included her. When Noah invented games, Daniel always made sure there was room for one more player. Little by little, Lily changed. She laughed once after Noah pretended a squirrel had stolen his invisible sandwich. Another day she whispered, "Your drawing is funny." Daniel acted as though hearing her voice was completely normal. That normal reaction made speaking feel safe. Claire noticed something surprising about herself too. She laughed more. She checked work emails less. For the first time in years, she wasn't trying to solve every problem alone. One rainy afternoon, Daniel confessed he had recently lost his construction job. "I'm sure something will come along," he said with a calm smile. Claire wanted to help immediately. But she also respected his dignity. A week later, her company announced a community center renovation project requiring an experienced construction supervisor. Daniel was perfect. Instead of offering charity, Claire simply encouraged him to apply. He earned the job through his own skills. Months passed. The renovation became one of the company's most successful community projects. Daniel's leadership impressed everyone. Employees admired how respectfully he treated every worker, from architects to janitors. One afternoon, Claire visited the project site with Lily. As they walked through the nearly finished building, Lily looked around at the bright classrooms, colorful walls, and children's reading corner. Then she looked at Daniel. "I like your building." The sentence was short, but it echoed through the room louder than applause. Workers quietly stopped what they were doing. Daniel smiled. "It's your building too," he replied. "Every child who comes here will fill it with stories." Claire couldn't hold back her tears. She realized healing hadn't arrived through money. It hadn't arrived through power. It had arrived through patience, friendship, and ordinary kindness repeated over and over again. The community center opened that fall. Children filled every room with laughter. Families gathered after school. Neighbors who had once been strangers became friends. Lily even volunteered to read simple picture books to younger children. The girl who once couldn't speak now helped shy kids find their own confidence. One evening, Claire asked Lily what made her finally feel safe enough to speak again. Lily thought carefully before answering. "Daniel never waited for me to talk." Claire looked confused. "He waited for me." Those words stayed with Claire forever. At the company's annual leadership conference, thousands expected her usual speech about business growth and innovation. Instead, she shared a different lesson. She spoke about a father on a park bench who changed a little girl's life without realizing it. She told every executive that success should never be measured only by profits, promotions, or headlines. Real success is measured by the number of people who feel safer, stronger, and more hopeful because you crossed their path. The audience stood and applauded. But Daniel never heard about the speech until Claire mailed him a handwritten thank you letter. He called her the next day. "You didn't owe me anything," he said. Claire smiled. "I know. That's what kindness is." Years later, Lily often visited the same park with younger children from the community center. Whenever she noticed a shy child standing alone, she would walk over, sit beside them, and simply wait. Not because she expected them to speak, but because someone once did the same for her. And maybe that's the greatest gift kindness can ever give. It reminds people they never have to face their hardest moments alone. If this story touched your heart, remember that your smallest act of patience, compassion, or understanding may become someone else's turning point. A smile, a listening ear, or a simple invitation can change a life in ways you'll never fully see. Thank you for spending your time with Whispered Maybe. Until next time, keep choosing kindness, because the quietest moments often carry the loudest miracles.